Focus on the aviation space, then it's facing a number of problems in the recent past as a result of the hike in ATF prices. To solve that and more, we have Krishnan Balakrishnan, the CFO of GoAir, who joins us from the sidelines of the ICICI Securities Conference in Singapore. Hi, Mr. Balakrishnan. Thanks so much, sir, for joining in today. Want to understand a couple of details, sir, with regard to GoAir. What exactly is the current fleet size that you're working with? And also, what is your current market share? And if you could compare it with what it was maybe a year or so ago.
Thank you for having me. Currently, we are operating 23 aircraft. The 24th aircraft was delivered to us last week, and it should be operational within a week or so. And our current market share is about 8.3%. In terms of capacity share, we have about 7.8. So we are slightly ahead of the curve in terms of our utilization and the load factors that we carry.
So we've seen fuel costs rise quite a bit.
What was the second question?
So how the market share of 8.3% compares with, say, a year ago and 2 years ago, just to map the trend?
Yeah, sure. In 2012, we had a market share of about 6%. And of course, with the growing fleet, we have increased that. Last year, we were at about, we were slightly higher, in fact, last year at 8.4. But then the increased fleet of our competitors resulted in us losing a little bit of market share. Though, like I said earlier, in terms of capacity, we are still much lower than the market share that we hold. With our growing fleet, with the NEOs that are on order, we should soon be gaining market share year on year.
Okay. Mr. Balakrishnan, let me come to the headwind that the aviation industry is facing in the form of higher the last few months. With margins being razor thin, even for a company like GoAir, what is the outlook on profitability?
In GoAir, we have been profitable now consistently for the last 5 years. And during these 5 years, as you will remember, the fuel prices have been extremely volatile. At one point, the fuel was at $120 a barrel. And despite that, we managed to make profits. Of course, with the increasing fuel price now, today the barrel is about $57. We don't think it will go far beyond 60 in any event in the next 2-3 years. That's our outlook. Of course, it puts a lot of pressure on our margins. You're right. It's paper-thin margins that we are working on in this industry. And every rupee counts. We will probably have to consider, sharing this burden also with our passengers at some point. But today, it is affecting everybody's bottom line. In our case, of course, we have nevertheless managed to change our booking curve. And even in Q3, we have managed to get a RASK, which is much higher than what we had originally budgeted. So we have managed to adjust the volumes and the pricing in such a way that we have optimized the revenue per ASKM.
Well, Mr. Balakrishnan, that input costs going higher, that's one part of the problem. But as you're saying, your RASK has gone higher. If you could tell us what was the RASK maybe in the last quarter or so, and if you compare it on a year-on-year basis, you mean to say that it is higher? Because we learned that in fact discounts are have been increasing, and that's what's reducing the yield for your company. If you could guide us, sir.
Yeah, so the RASK in this quarter is about 4.17. Of course, these are not published numbers, so I cannot talk too much about it, but we are higher than what we had last year. So that's because, of course, the volumes, the load factor has also gone up in our case, and that has helped to improve the RASK.
Okay. Very quickly, sir, if you could tell us what's the latest on your IPO plans? Has formal work started?
Yes, so we have been meeting investment bankers over the last couple of weeks, and we hope to issue a mandate by end of the month. And then, of course, we will be guided by the merchant bankers as to the timing and the size of the issue and all the other stuff. So we definitely would like to go public sometime in 2017.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We've run out of time, not questions, but we'll have to take this conversation forward another time. You need to fasten your seatbelts. Aviation industry is going through some